Hi, we're just testing this out and seeing if it's on the right page. So, please hold. Okay. Okay, I think we're on the right page. Shweta, someone, Jennifer, can you guys confirm through text? I think we're on the right page. Hi. Oh, that's me. That's I'm on my phone. Is this on the right page? I think we are. Okay, I'm just gonna wait for Jen or Shweta to text us and see. But is this a good angle? Okay, now everyone's gonna learn how to put on a malong. This is a malong. And I literally grab it at the ends, make it a ponytail and twist, and now you know.
She confirmed.
No, that's Janet. Hello, everyone. Hi, we're just doing testing to see if the angle's correct, if we're on Actus page. If someone can confirm how to do that we're on. Hi, Jen. Are we on the right page?
Testing.
Hello, everyone. This is just a test run. Just trying to figure out if we're on the right page. Can you put me on Ellorin's thing?
Ellorin's account. Oh, Ellorin's Instagram.
Hello. Yay, we're on the right page. Okay, so
you guys look good. Okay.
We're just gonna set something else up and then we're gonna start in 4 minutes, but we won't turn it off. Stay tuned, it's gonna be awesome. Forgetting to maintain social distancing is hard. But don't worry, we have our Lysol, we have our hand sanitizers, don't touch your face.
Okay, so we're on.
Yes, but we won't start till 1 o'clock. Which is in 4 minutes. Am I in?
Hold on. Jeez. I'm getting the password from Janet. Unicorn. Shit, it's Unicorn 54 or something like that.
Is this a good angle? Let me see here. That should be fine. Wait.
Oh, it's logged in. 54.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, we're here.
I'm gonna put this one up.
Okay.
So.
I guess only through the iPhones will be able to access it.
Why can't I go on live on my phone?
What?
That's weird. Okay. Hi, Rogel. Hi. We're about to start. Okay. Okay, that should be fine. Go ahead and start.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Okay. Good afternoon. Welcome to this Wednesday afternoon session hosted by ACTA, the Alliance for California Traditional Arts. I'm Bernard Ellorin. I am the Master Apprentice, part of the recipient of the Master and Apprenticeship Award for the year of 2019. And we'll be playing for you today traditional Southern Philippine gong music. So, this genre of music is found on the southernmost island of Mindanao and the Sulu archipelago. And this music is celebratory music that brings people together. So, as part of our ACTA Master and Apprenticeship program, and myself have
Hello.
been on this 1 year or 3 year this year studying. What's
Go
going
ahead.
on?
Go ahead.
Does it want to talk already?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Just keep going. I'm just seeing what they're saying.
Hello, everyone. So, for the ACTA apprenticeship, we were able to continue studying gong music from the southern Philippines, specifically from the Maguindanao region, located in Cotabato province. And this project was to continue the legacy of the late Danungan Sibay Kalanduyan, who was a pioneer of bringing traditional kulintang music to the United States, and he's also the grandfather of Kimberly Kalanduyan Villanueva. So if you want to say a little bit more about that apprenticeship, Kim.
Yeah. So hi, I'm Kim Kalanduyan. I'm the apprentice part of the Master of the Apprenticeship grant via ACTA. So thanks to ACTA, Bernard and I were able to go to the Philippines and just take on an intensive in the Philippines to learn kulintang from my grandfather's family, my family, but members that I've never met before. It was just a great experience. We actually wrote an article about that is linked on the page somewhere. We learned a lot. We met a lot of traditional Native artists, and we took a lot of what they taught us and we brought it back here, and we talk a lot about that in our article.
Yes. So what we're going to do today is play some traditional pieces of Mindanaoan people. And so there's over 13 Muslim societies in the southern Philippines that continue this indigenous art form of gongro music, which is part of the larger families of maritime gongro ensembles that are found in neighboring countries such as Indonesia and Malaysia. And so this tradition has existed for over 1,000 years. And so this is indigenous gong music that's played during celebratory occasions, weddings, and healing rituals. So it's fitting that this music is going to be played at this time when we're all self-quarantining and going through this pandemic, and we hope we can all heal from this music. So the first repertoire of pieces that are played during any traditional gathering are pieces in the old style or kamamatuan style. And this style is traditionally played by women because kulintang is a woman's instrument. And so the pieces in the kamamatuan repertoire are duyog, which means to catch up or speed up, and sinulog, which means movements of the river. And so duyog and sinulogs are typically played in sets of 2 and 3. So for today, we're going to be playing around 2 versions of each piece. So we'll start with duyog, the oldest Maguindanao kulintang composition. Now we will play sinulog. So, kulintang music consists of the instruments, which is the main melodic instrument here called the kulintang, which is a row of 8 knobbed gongs. We have the agong, which is a large knob gong that plays the drone or the improvisatory consistent rhythmic pattern. And then we have the rhythm to the ensemble, a dabakan, a gourd-shaped drum with lizard skin. And so, as I mentioned earlier, we have pieces in the old style, and then we also have pieces in the new style, which is the younger generation of kulintang pieces, and that's called the Kangangudan style. And this style is a lot more rhythmic and highly improvisatory, and it dates back to the early 20th century as more male musicians started to kulintang. They incorporated rhythmic elements from the accompanying instruments into the melodies of the kulintang. And one such melody is binalig. So binalig is derived from the Maguindanao word for balig, which means accent, and it is supposed to be a combination of the Kamamatuan style pieces. So now we will play the lively improvisatory Kalanduyan style through the piece binalig.
Really quick, if you have any questions, we're gonna be periodically reading the comments, so go ahead and type in your questions and try to get them answered. So before we play our final piece, somebody asked earlier, what am I wearing? This is a traditional formal Maguindanao outfit, I guess you could say. This is a malong. One of my nicer malongs that I love to wear for you all. And then the top is a bangala. Again, that's part of the traditional Maguindanao attire. So when we were in the Philippines, we actually got invited to attend a Muslim engagement party, which in Maguindanao terms is called a salanguni. And when we went, it's a formal occasion. We didn't know what to wear. And I ended up just bringing this without knowing that literally everyone there was wearing a similar attire. And I just fit right in, and it was just like, I was home, like, these are my people, and it was awesome. And Bernard is wearing the male version of that.
Male version, this is a Maguindanao and Bangkala. And I'm wearing a kopia, which is a cap. And then this style of malong, both styles of malong that Kim and I are wearing are called Inao malong. And this design is called kumpak. The kumpak design, which is supposed to symbolize the compact between the Maguindanaoan Sultanate and
keep our distance.
We need to keep our distance. Maguindanaoan Sultanate and the U.S. Government at the time. So now, do we have any questions or
yes.
comments? Yeah.
So Jennifer says, tell us about the Maguindanaoan and Filipino community in San Diego.
Well, in Southern California in general, most of the Muslim societies from the Maguindanao and then another neighboring group, the Maranao people, they primarily live in Los Angeles. So there's a small, tight-knit community there, and I think there's some that are also living in the Inland Empire, from what I've heard. But we have yet to connect to a larger community. And so right now, Kim's family is probably the only one you can find here in San Diego at this point.
Let's see. Is there a big difference between the traditional music of the southern Philippines versus the other regions?
Which regions? Or like Indonesia and Malaysia, or
well, maybe like northern regions of Luzon and Visayas.
Yes. So the Philippines has over 106 ethno-linguistic groups, and they each have their own regional style of musical instruments. And so in the northern part of the Philippines, for example, it's connected to the larger mainland Southeast Asian gong traditions. So if you even look at the shape of Luzon, at one point it may have been connected to central Vietnam and South China. And, with, the plate tectonics theory, that ethnic minority may have transmigrated to the northern Philippines. That's, one can only speculate. I'm not saying that's kind of the concrete theory, but you see some shared similarities in gong repertoire. And similarly, in the southern Philippines, since Mindanao is connected to the region of gongro cultures found throughout island Southeast Asia, you'll find similar instruments in neighboring Southeast Asian countries. So it's part of that whole, gongro culture, and it's only through the development of modern nation states that we become separated, but they're all related somehow. I hope that answered your question.
Are there any cultural practices that are soothing you to in these tense times, or artists or art that you're looking into?
Soothing practices?
Cultural arts.
Cultural arts
that
practice.
soothe you during this time.
I mean, I've just been practicing all the kulintang pieces I've known. So it's interesting that you ask that, since, I'm actually an adjunct faculty at 2 community colleges, and what I've been doing is further brushing up on some pieces that I haven't touched in a while. So definitely, playing all the Maguindanao kulintang pieces that I've learned as a form of leisure, and just brushing up on pieces I haven't touched is kind of soothing and therapeutic in many ways. How about you, Kim?
Honestly, being isolated in my house, it's taking a toll on me. It's making me really sad. So I practice a lot. I'm taking this free time that I have to practice all the pieces, because if you don't practice, you kind of forget it. And just playing the music and just practicing it, listening to it, and calling Bernard, and sometimes we'll have like Skype lessons. Yeah. It helps, because it makes me feel like helps me remember that I have a community there for me that I can call or text if I'm feeling lonely, and we can Zoom or Skype. It helps me remember that there is a community out there that I play this music for, that I'm representing, and who are also going through these times. Yeah. So by continuing playing the music and practicing it, I still feel that connection between myself and the people that I'm trying to represent. Let's see. There was a question up here. Hi, Jasmine. Her question is, how did you structure your apprenticeship? Meaning, how did you choose pieces, etc.? Also to Kim, what was your experience reconnecting with your family in general via music? Okay, so her question, Bernard, is how did you structure your apprenticeship, and by choosing which pieces to teach me, etc.?
Well, in view of the fact that Kim's family is from the Maguindanaoan people in Cotabato City, and so since I've been studying Danny Kalanduyan's repertoire from his family in Datapuyang, which, they're a family of musicians, I structured it to where Kim would be learning versions of Maguindanaoan pieces that were taught to me by her grandfather. And so I really wanted to empower Kim to learn, pieces from both the Kamamatuan and the Kalanduyan repertoire. But we mainly focused, we did an intensive mainly on the Kamamatuan style pieces because I'm also trying to revitalize the concept of how kulintang music is a feminine art form. And so, with Kim, I further honed her skills in playing pieces like Duyog and Sinulog because they're difficult compositions to master, and I'm sure Kim can attest to that.
Yeah.
So I focus mainly on music from the Magindanaoan repertoire because it is ethnically Maguindanao, and then also Danny Kalanduyan, his family is from, the village of Datupiang, which is famous for having, a vast repertoire or, master musicians come from that village. So I really focused on pieces from the Kamamatuan and Kalanduyan style of Maguindanao and compositions. And then we also touched upon different regions as well, but primarily I made it Maguindanaoan focused.
And for me, it was really nerve-wracking to know that eventually I'm going to be playing in front of these master artists, and they're going to be looking at me, even though we're family, they're going to be looking at me as an American, learning this music, not in their village. And it was, I really tried, I told Bernard, I really want to be able to play this music in front of them confidently and good, and I want them to enjoy it, and it'd be like I wasn't so separated from them. And that's one thing that we focus on a lot. What was your experience reconnecting with family in general? It was crazy because my father was in the Navy, so we moved around a lot. I was born in the Philippines, but since my father was in the Navy, he was stationed in Japan, and then I moved here around 8 years old to San Diego, California, and I just grew up here. Went to a school where there was not a lot of Filipino cultural arts that I could surround myself with. And even though I knew about kulintang, even though my Lolo Danny taught me my first piece when I was 8 years old, I just was not able to be immersed in Filipino culture, or at least kulintang, as I wanted to. And especially I didn't have a lot of family here. I didn't have, my dad only has one sister, and she lived with my grandfather in San Francisco, where my grandfather taught kulintang music, and he spread it all around the Bay Area, which is why the Bay Area has a lot of kulintang artists over there. But he didn't have a lot of time to teach me, even though he wanted to. And whenever we talked about it, he always said there was a certain he wanted me to learn. And eventually, Bernard was in grad school at the time, so he couldn't teach me, even though Lolo Danny knew that Bernard was here and was literally down the street from me, who could teach me. But it was nice. It was nice reconnecting with them. It was kind of like, when you go to a family reunion of any sort, and it's like, oh, go say hi to your tita. Like that inner me, that voice was inside my head, oh, there's my tita, there's my Lola. And then, there's still Lolas there who was like, oh, go say hi to your Lola Tout, go say hi to this one. And they were just kind of guiding me, and they were very accepting and very loving, and they were super funny, and I kind of just fit in because at home I'm loud, I make jokes all the time, and I play kulintang music. Literally, that's what we did over there. We were loud and we were joking and we played kulintang music. Let's see. Is your ensemble still able to get together and practice despite the stay-home order stuff, virtually or together 6 feet distance?
Unfortunately, no. I've postponed ensemble rehearsals and group lessons until further notice. But I am scheduling time, Zoom, and virtual lessons to any of my members who are interested or who have time available, during this period of quarantine. So this is probably our only chance that we've had after, getting the notification that we're getting together, and regardless of the 6 feet distance. So yeah, right now it's been put on hold, but eventually, once we receive word that this quarantine has been lifted, start back up again.
Is kulintang music written down in a score, or is by memory or audio only?
Traditionally, it's an oral tradition passed on. Younger generations of musicians listen to the elders playing, their own versions of the traditional repertoire. It's only till fairly recently, during the latter half of the 20th century, where they started to transcribe kulintang music through number or cipher notation, and we see that happening a lot at the University of the Philippines. And so, because the students, they're only given a semester to learn kulintang pieces, so that transcription right in front of them. But how Guru Danny taught me, Kim's grandfather, was he kind of cut all the phrases, the melodic phrases of a piece into fragments, and then played it slowly until I can fully digest the entire, composition. And I've been doing the exact same thing with all of my students, including Kim.
Yes. So my grandfather's brother, I call him Grandpa, I call him Lolo Nappy, Kalanduyan. He is a professor of music at University of the Philippines, Diliman, in Quezon City.
Yes.
It's in the Metro Manila area. He actually teaches a kulintang ensemble at that university because he is the only native Maguindanao master artist over there. And he actually writes it in a transcription for his students. That's not the traditional way that it is taught, but because of the way that students learn music now via scores, it just helps them remember.
Yeah.
But traditionally it's taught orally, A-U-R-A-L-L-Y, and orally, O-R-A-L-L-Y. So that's how we learn it here to keep the traditional aspect of our group. From Peter. Hi, Peter. How was the reception of your relatives when they heard you playing kulintang and connecting with the traditional arts of your ancestors? Let me read the question again. It was good, I think. I believe it was good. I was really nervous to play it. Obviously, Bernard went first because they already knew that Bernard could play kulintang. I think he's been there before just without my grandpa. Yeah, he was there before just without Lolo Danny. So they knew he could play kulintang. But they've never seen or heard me play kulintang. So I went up and I was just like, crap. I closed my eyes because I play better for some reason with my eyes closed. And then when I ended, everyone just cheered and yelled. It was like, ah! And I was like, yay! And they were really surprised. Some of their words were like, how did you learn that? Do you practice every day? Do you have a kulintang at home? Where did you get your kulintang? And I was just like, they just didn't believe that, like, Bernard, an American, could teach me, also an American, but also their granddaughter. And they just couldn't believe, like, how well an American taught me, another American, to play so well. And they're really proud. They're really proud of that. I decided myself to pick up the art and to represent it and to spread it all around Southern California. And we actually asked them in each of the groups that we were with how they felt about Filipino Americans, sharing this art. And, they are proud of it. They feel heard, they feel seen, and they feel honored that somebody chose their culture to represent in the United States. And that's what we try to do. They just ask that we remain respectful to it. What's the best way for folks to follow along with y'all? Our social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook. I think our Instagram is the most active. And to donate to support your practice. So we are an educational complex under Samahan Filipino Performing Arts and Cultural Center.
Yeah.
And to donate to us, you donate through them.
Yeah.
To donate through Samahan's fund, which is on Facebook.
Yeah, the Samahan Filipino American Performing Arts and Education Center is a nonprofit organization that has existed for over 40 years. It was founded by the late Dr. Lolita Dinoso Carter, and it was because of Samahan we were able to learn traditional gong music from Kim's grandfather, because in the mid-1990s, Dr. Carter wrote a grant to have Danny Kalanduyan teach us for over 4 years. So between 1994 and 98, we learned, traditional Maguindanao and Maranao kulintang pieces. And so that's how we were able to, I was able to further study and treat, Maguindanao and Maranao culture with integrity and respect, because oftentimes the Muslim societies of the southern Philippines are stigmatized. They've been given this kind of stereotype as, kind of an ethnicity that runs amok and kills unwarrantingly. But, through learning from Danny Kalanduyan, we learned about this beautiful art form, and that this tradition is from a peace-loving ethnicity. And so I highly recommend you all, donate to ACTA, donate to the Samahan Filipino American Performing Arts and Education Center in order to keep these nonprofit organizations afloat, especially since we're quarantined right now and we're unable to do some of our outreach programs and even hold some of our classes. So any donation will help.
Okay, 2 more questions and then our last piece.
Yeah.
What came first, Indonesian gamelan or Filipino kulintang?
It's hard to pinpoint what came first. It's like what came first, the chicken or the egg. And, it's hard to speculate where, because those nation states were porous to begin with. There was no concept of, this is Indonesia, this is Malaysia, this is the Philippines. They were all circulating gong instruments, at one point, and then they just manifested differently in in the different regions. So it's hard to pinpoint who originated with what, because they all have their own origin stories and histories, and there's just frequent trade, kind of conflates everything. But anyway, yeah, it's hard to speculate who originated with what first.
And the last question is, Bernard, how has your style of playing or how you approach playing specific all pieces changed since 2006?
2006?
From Lisa Tolentino.
I would say that I've picked up a different subgroup styles of kulintang music, and I'm starting to incorporate more embellishments from my field research. I would say that's probably one example of how my style has changed. I'm now exploring, the neighboring subgroup of Maguindanao, the Taga Ilod style of music. I mean, I dabbled on it before, because Maguindanao and kulintang music, or the region, is divided into 2 groups: the Tagalaya, which are upstream, and then the Taga Ilod, which is downstream. And I attribute that to working with master musicians such as Teng Emba, Faisal Munal, Sata Abdullah. All of them have been influential in exposing me to another style of Maguindanaoan composition. I guess being receptive to another subgroup of Maguindanaoan style has totally changed my perception, and also observing other techniques from master musicians kind of further developed my style or refined it over the years.
So thank you for your questions. Our last piece that we're going to play for you all is called Tagongo. It's a healing ritual. It is a piece that's played during kapagipats, which are healing rituals. So traditionally, they perform these to rid your body of to help you heal or cure physical ailments, illnesses, which is fitting during this time of quarantine and social isolation. But not only, as we learned in the Philippines last year, not only does it help to cure your physical ailments, but also emotional and mental ones, heartbreak, sadness, loneliness, especially since we are self-isolating. So I hope that this music helps you all to heal and to feel joy, even for just 3 to 5 minutes while we play it from us.
Yeah, and so you can all participate too by playing this basic rhythm that's on the ogle. So I'll play it for you, and then you all can clap along. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1 and 2. Good. Now Kim and I will demonstrate the piece. So clap along, everybody.
Shukran, maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. And if you have any questions, please feel free to follow us on our social medias. We have a lot of content on there, and then when all of this is over, if you want to join and learn, don't hesitate to contact us, especially since Bernard is the leading ethnomusicologist here in all of the United States on kulintang music. All right, thank you everyone.
Isang mahal.